king-sized conundrum, ruins ruined, twins who are both first. That's all coming up in this Thursday edition of CNN Student News. We start with the threat of severe weather. It's a tropical cyclone, which is the same kind of storm as a hurricane. And a United Nations agency says more than 8 million people in Bangladesh and Myanmar could be in danger from this one. The storm is moving through the Bay of Bengal. Forecasters think it'll hit land late today or early Friday. When it does, it's expected to bring strong winds and very heavy rain. Authorities and aid groups are trying to help people prepare before this thing hits. One official says it's really a race against time. These storms have different names based on what part of the world they're in. Ivan Cabrera has more on that and explains some of the science behind them.
A tropical cyclone is an area of low pressure that forms in the tropical regions of the world. Cyclones are actually very important, even though, of course, they can be deadly. They help essentially balance out the temperature across the globe. They are an equalizer, so they take the heat energy from the tropics and they translate that where we need it into the colder climates. The generic term for it is a tropical cyclone. That can refer to any cyclone that has a closed center of circulation anywhere in the world, like in the Atlantic. When they get strong enough to a certain wind speed, we call them hurricanes. But if you're in the Western Pacific, a hurricane is called a typhoon. There is no difference between a hurricane and a typhoon except in the name. They're both tropical cyclones.
Next up today, anger. It's about the materials being used to build a road, specifically where these materials came from, a pyramid. This happened in the Central American country of Belize. The northern part of this nation was home to Mayan civilizations thousands of years ago. Those civilizations included pyramids that looked like this one. Some of them are still standing, like one that was the center of a settlement around 250 BC. The pyramid was more than 60 feet tall. I say was. This is what's left of that Mayan pyramid. Someone came in with bulldozers and destroyed it so they could use the limestone from the pyramid as road building material. The pyramid was on private land, but there are laws in Belize that protect these ancient ruins. A local official says whoever's responsible should be prosecuted. A local archaeologist called the pyramid's destruction an incredible display of ignorance. Predicting a volcanic eruption has never been an exact science. Otherwise, things might have turned out differently in Pompeii. Today, volcanologists can use instruments to monitor a mountain. They can study its eruptive history. They can keep watch on tremors in the ground around it. But one surefire sign a volcano's up to something, it starts spewing lava. And that's what not one, but 2 volcanoes in Alaska are doing. Scientists are saying that with little or no warning, they could explode. Both the Pavlov and Cleveland volcanoes are in the Aleutian Islands off the southwest coast of Alaska. And in the case of the Cleveland volcano, there are no ground instruments to monitor what's going on because of budget cuts. Full-scale eruptions would threaten airspace. An estimated 90% of air freight that travels from Asia to Europe and North America flies near Alaska. But these volcanoes aren't a major threat to people on the ground because there aren't many people on the ground there. What is a threat to people? A massive mountain in Mexico. The Popocatépetl volcano has been spewing ash and molten rock in recent days. Since it's only 40 miles from Mexico City, authorities are planning evacuation routes and shelters for people nearby in case it blows its top.
Today's first shout out goes out to Mrs. Hernandez's freshman seminar at East River High School in Orlando, Florida. What team played in Minneapolis, Minnesota during the NBA's first season? Was it the Hawks, Lakers, Warriors, or Timberwolves? You've got 3 seconds. Go. The Timberwolves may be Minnesota's team now, but when the NBA started, the Lakers were playing in Minneapolis. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
The team's name comes from Minnesota's nickname, Land of 10,000 Lakes. The Lakers moved to LA in 1960. They're not the only sports franchise that has relocated, and there could be more. The NBA is considering moving the Sacramento Kings to Seattle, a city that lost its NBA team 5 years ago. Casey Wyan explores this tale of 2 cities starting in Seattle.
Fans are rallying to bring the NBA back, and the mayor is on board.
We got a great city for NBA basketball, one of the largest markets in the country. We got a great ownership team, We have political support, and most of all, we've got the fan support.
Back in Sacramento, the mayor is former NBA star Kevin Johnson, an all-star point guard, now point man, for the city's effort to keep the Kings under local ownership.
We've always said that it's bigger than basketball. So not only would we keep the 1,000 jobs that the Kings have here, it also ties into $1 billion economic development with the new arena downtown. Those are very tangible and very specific.
One advantage for Sacramento, the Kings are the only game in town. There's no competition for fans from overlapping Major League Baseball or NFL seasons. But that small size can be a disadvantage. Sacramento is only the number 20 U.S. television market, and its arena is sponsored by a local mattress chain. Seattle's ownership group includes the CEO of Microsoft and the manager of a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund. They're so well financed that when the NBA's relocation committee recommended last month to deny the move to Seattle, they simply raised their offer by $75 million.
Yeah, definitely.
Former Supersonic Sean Kemp owns a restaurant near the proposed Seattle arena.
It's not about money. I think we deserve another shot simply because we cared about the little things around this area. It was about, like I said, the community relations. So it was about doing and being a part of something.
Let me say this to Seattle. Great city, great sports town, great fans, great ownership group. They deserve a basketball team, just not ours.
Whatever the NBA decides, there's a good chance the outcome won't be final until there's a ruling in a non-basketball court.
Today's shout-out extra credit goes out to Mrs. Duvall's political science class at North Bullitt High School in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. What piece of music is traditionally played at academic graduations? Is it Ode to Joy, Auld Lang Syne, Pomp and Circumstance, or Pachelbel's Canon? Rewind the clock to 3 seconds and go. That traditional graduation march is Pomp and Circumstance. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out extra credit.
Of course, pomp and circumstance, one of the traditions that comes with graduation ceremonies, wearing caps and gowns also, and the naming of the valedictorian, the top student in the class. At Spelman College here in Atlanta, there are 2 valedictorians this year, and Aaron Coleman from affiliate WSB explains these students have a lot more in common than just their GPAs.
Christy and Kirsty Bronner. That's Christy on the right of your screen, Kirsty on the left. They are identical twins with an identical GPA.
Before we came to college, we prayed that we would keep 4.0s all the way through, but I don't think that we really ever expected it.
You can have strength together.
The Spelman College seniors will graduate in a matter of days. They say they worked hard, so hard at first, they made themselves sick, but eventually,
we learn how to have a balance to life and then to be able to appreciate the journey of college and be more healthy and be more happy.
Every semester we learn something new about life, things that we can apply to life, things that we apply to school.
They both majored in music, and just wait till you hear them sing.
You don't have to be the smartest, you don't have to be the one who came in with the prior knowledge to be the one to succeed.
Life lessons from 2 of Spelman's shining young women who are sharing the spotlight.
All right, before we go, the worst pool party ever.
There's people in this backyard just south of the bear here, and there's the bear. So one property away. This is going to be very scary for those people if that bear continues over that fence. And it looks like he indeed is going that way. We have trees. We're going to try to get around. Let's move around to that other house. And here's those people. Look at their reaction. They're out of here. There's a bear, and they are running for their lives into the house. Smart move. And here's another person. He is out of here.
Everyone got away from the animals safely, but just barely. To avoid this in the future, they could hire a lookout, you know, a Cub Scout, or they could do it by themselves by pooling their resources. For CNN Student News, I'm Carl Azus. Have a great day.